Hi, thanks for continuing to watch these videos. This one is going to teach you how to incorporate a clapping game that I learned when I was a boy. When I learned it, I was in 5th grade, and I think you could use it with students between the ages of 3rd grade and beyond. I use it with my high schoolers, and I use it with adults too. It's really fun. It will take some time for the younger students to learn it. It's pretty advanced once you start putting the two patterns together. So just give it time and take it slow at the beginning, and then once you get it, it's the kind of thing that you can reincorporate every so often. And the kids like clapping, and it's fun to do. It sounds cool once it all comes together. So if you'll notice, there are two patterns on the board. The first pattern is very familiar, and I don't usually notate it when I teach it to students. I just teach it to them by rote, just by listening and by clapping. And however, I wrote this up here just to help you, to give you a little bit of a visual aid. And if you have the opportunity to do this, it could be helpful, but I've never taught it with notation. I always just teach it by ear. So here is pattern 1. It's a familiar pattern, and it goes like this. And it's kind of that pattern you know as da, 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 let's go. That maybe you hear at sports games or something like that. Let's go ahead and do that pattern again. I'll count it off. Clap it with me. 1, 2, 3, go. Good. So that first pattern will be looped over and over again. So let's practice looping that. Let's just clap it together 4 times. 1, 2, 3, go. 1. 2, 3, 4. Good. So the next pattern is really the exact same thing, just with a rest at the very beginning. If that makes a lot of sense to you, great, it will help you. If that doesn't mean anything to you, then don't worry about it. Just remember that the beginning is always going to have a space to start the pattern. So I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to say rest the first few times, and I'm going to do this with my hands. And that generally helps when teaching this to show the visual aid. Let's give it a shot. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and rest. So do that again. I'll count it off and just rest at the beginning. It'll help to say rest. And open your hands. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3, and rest. So looping that one is a little bit more difficult. Let's do it just because it's kind of uneven, because you can see that this bar of music has 5 beats and this bar has 4 beats. That's just irregular from what we're used to hearing in popular music and music in general. So here we go again. Let's loop it. We'll do it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and rest. 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 Good. Let's do it 4 more times, and let's do it without saying rest. I'll just open my hands, and we'll clap it together, doing pattern number 2 with the rest at the beginning. 1, 2, here we go. I don't know if that was 4 times, but it was somewhere around there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to unite the two so that they happen at the same time. What's really exciting about this, and that's kind of fun for the students once they get it, is that when you layer the two patterns on top of each other, you get a really exciting rhythmic phenomenon called a polyrhythm. And so as the two rhythms interact, you hear a fun, exciting musical piece, and by the end, because of the difference in length of the two musical ideas, they actually line up at the end, and this note happens at the same time as this note, and so the piece ends together, and it sounds really cool, and it's very rewarding and satisfying after all the chaos of the two patterns happening on top of each other. So I made a recording of myself clapping pattern 1, and I'm going to play that for you now, and I will clap pattern 2, and you can do it with me. I'll do it a couple times so you have something to practice with, so that you know what you're going for if you teach this to a group of students. So here is clapping pattern 1, and I will clap clapping pattern 2, and I'll let clapping pattern 1 happen 2 times before I come in. Just follow along with me and do clapping pattern 2.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's what I was afraid of, technical difficulties. If you give me 1 second, things will cooperate. I promise it will be fine. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Rest.